Jared Polin, Fro Knows Photo.com, back with another super secret project video. And this week, I want to talk about VR. I've been getting emails from people who don't really understand VR, or there's a lot of people who think that vibration reduction or image stabilization on the Canon end in your lenses will help you get sharp images indoors of moving subjects. A lot of people that are selling these lenses, they don't understand most of this stuff themselves. But what is VR good for? VR, they say, will give you 2, 3, maybe even 4 stops of hand-hold ability, allowing you to hand-hold a camera at slow shutter speeds where you normally wouldn't be able to unless you were on a tripod, but then again, you're hand-holding it, so you don't want that motion blur. So vibration reduction or image stabilization is counteracting your hand movements, allowing you to hand-hold at slow shutter speeds where you normally shouldn't be shooting. But many people buy these lenses like a 55-200 Nikon VR, and they think that if they go indoors and they try to shoot sports, that the VR is going to help them keep the subjects sharp. Say it's a basketball game indoors. They think that by putting VR on, that they're going to freeze the action. It's not going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Now, a lot of people don't understand this. That's why I'm explaining it. What's going to happen is the background, the wall, the bricks in the background are going to be nice and sharp because the vibration reduction is counteracting your movement. But the subject is going to look out of focus or blurred. That's because the shutter speed isn't fast enough to freeze them moving. So when it's 5.6 zoomed out to 200 with the VR on, the subject's gonna blur out as they move across the screen, or your viewfinder when you shoot the picture, they're gonna be blurry. This is why I recommend better, faster glass, because just because you get 3 to 4 stops better handhold ability with a VR lens doesn't mean you're getting the same effect as a 2.8 piece of glass. A 2.8 piece of glass is going to let in more light, which is going to bump up your shutter speed. So instead of being at a 40th of a second trying to shoot that basketball indoors, you're going to be at an 80th one stop, then 1/25th and 2/50th. So around 2/50th of a second, you're going to be shooting at your 2.8 because you're getting those 3 stops or 2.5 stops better light. So what's happening? Now you can freeze that subject running across the screen or running up and down the court because you're letting in more light. You're not just relying on the vibration reduction to counteract your movement. You're not going to get more light at 5.6 with VR. 2.8, you're getting more light. That's why I recommend better pieces of glass up front, because better lenses allow you to let in more light. They're usually built better, better contrast, better clarity, better color representation, better ability to handle lens flare and light pollution. So yes, I recommend better glass, and yes, it's more expensive, but what would you rather do? Spend $400 on a 55-300 and realize in 6 months that you shouldn't have bought that, when you could have spent another $400 on a 70-200 Sigma 2.8? You know, that's why I recommend better glass. I've made all the mistakes up front. I've bought the wrong pieces of glass when I started because I didn't have anybody guiding me or helping me understand why better lenses are more important. So I was buying the 100-300 5.6 that I just didn't realize was terrible indoors, and I just couldn't do that. I couldn't shoot indoors. So back to the whole VR. VR is good when you're shooting inanimate objects. Of course, objects that aren't moving, you're going to be able to freeze them better at slower shutter speeds. But anytime you get into moving subjects, you're not going to be able to freeze them because of VR. That's why I'm not a big proponent of VR in every lenses. It just adds cost and adds weight and probably isn't needed. So hopefully that gives you a wrap-up of VR, and hopefully you understand it better. Today's 80s Nostalgia Day, obviously Super Secret Project Day is 80s Nostalgia Day. You've got Paddington Bear, who we should change his name to Pimpington Bear, because he's got 2 Cabbage Patch women on his arms. Jared Polin, Fro Knows Photo.com. See ya.